This is no man's land. Well, at least it is today. But when we're done with it, it is going to be a full thriving community with people living in it and companies producing things to export to other towns. Now, before we get started, what are we going to need to do? Well, first, we're going to mow the grass, right? That's obvious. We're going to mow the grass, and then we will put it into a silage bunker. We're probably going to put that right there on the left where all of that dirt space is. We're likely just going to have that. That is going to make us a lot of money in this map, just because there's a lot of grass in this map, and the more we can cut, the more we can make, the more silage we can make, and then the more we can sell it or use it for livestock if we get that far. Now, our town has some basic needs right away. Aside from the mowing, which we're going to focus on first, we have a couple different needs, and one is the highway department. We are going to need a highway department because we're going to need a place to put all of our equipment centrally located so we know where everything is, so we're not making a clutter of the map, and so that, we're a community, right? That's where everything would go. So we're going to put a highway department in there. We're also going to need some fields for crops, because why not? We're going to need to make some money. We have started off with $10 million, and that's great, but we're going to need a little bit more money than that. So we are going to make a couple fields. That way we can at least make some cash with some crops. And the third thing is ways to make money. And as I said, we have grass that we can cut for silage. We have crops that we can sell. We're obviously going to be making up a lot of money here early, but the more grass we can cut before we do development, I think that will be the better. Now, we're going to own the whole map, but we are going to focus on the southern part of this map first, because we don't want to transport everything. And yeah, I know the shop mod. I'm trying not to use everything like that. I'm just trying to do this straight, or as straight as we can possibly do it. So we are going to focus on the southern part, and specifically, we are going to focus right here. This is where we're going to put our highway department. This is where we're going to put our first 3 fields. The 3 fields are not going to really be a part of any farm right now, although we're probably going to donate it to a farm that we end up making. Maybe for the community, maybe just a private farmer that starts up and wants to move here. But either way, we are going to do that for the first year, just so we can make some money. Now, speaking of making money, we have got the crone out, and we are going to mow over where I showed you, where we're going to make the highway department. And I can't say never, but it's probably never going to happen where we just place something, especially in this map. We've got $10 million. That's it. And that seems like a lot, but when you're building a town, that is nothing. So what we're going to have to do is make silage, and that's what we're going to do today. I'm hoping that we're able to collect enough grass, and obviously that's going to become silage, but I hope we can collect enough to actually pay for the crone, because then we can start spending money on other things. We've still got a lot of infrastructure, as I went over. We've still got to build a highway department. That's going to require a building, at least probably a gas pump. We are going to need to get a couple other pieces of equipment here in the near future too. Definitely a plow, so that we can make all of that mess. But either way, let's start on this. Let's start getting this cut up, and I will be back in a little bit. Now 10:30, and we're moving right along, and as long as we're here and cutting grass, let's talk silage. Now, I want to get the biggest bin that we can, and I want it to be a long-term investment. And by that I mean we are going to mow a lot in this first part of this series. Now, I will break it up so that every video is not mowing, but before we develop some areas, we're going to have to mow them. That's just the way it is, or we're going to be broke. Now, the long-term investment strategy is that we get the biggest bunker that we can, and then we fill it up with grass. And I mean, try to pack it as much as we can. Then we blanket it, then we sell it for silage, and man, oh man, do we make a ton of money. I don't even know if the finances are going to matter at that point, and by that I mean we might be broke. But either way, let's continue to mow this, and that is pretty much the future here. I'm hoping that we can do that in either this episode or next. Let's see how far we go. We're not going to get anywhere if I continue to talk. And now finishing up the mowing, and we are soon going to buy a silage bunker. And you're asking, well, why wouldn't you buy a silo that ferments? Well, we could do that, but I just think that the bunker looks visually more appealing. I think that the bunker makes it look like we've gotten a lot more done. It's more satisfying. But either way, personal preference, we are going to do the bunker, and then we are going to just sell it. And that's why I want to keep this bunker over here close to the shop so that we can just go over there and quickly sell it. But first we have to place it. So let me go over here. We'll just park this out of the way. That way when we get our forage wagon in here, we will be able to move. And let's see what we can get here. And there it is, biggest silage bunker I can find. We're going to place it right here. And this is basically going to be the bank account. We're going to throw it into this bunker, and then we are going to wait for it to ferment. And then we're going to make a whole lot of money. But here, we are up here, and we have got a case. We have got a forage wagon. Oh, why a case? I'm not a brand guy. This seemed to be enough horsepower that we needed. I like to mix up the tractors also. I'm using John Deere and a couple other series. But we are going to grab the case. We are going to grab the biggest forage wagon that we can. That way we don't have to stop a long time. And we're going to try to grab all this grass. I'm hoping that we can at least make a little dent in that silage bunker. I know it's huge, but I also know that there's a lot of money to be had by filling it up. So I'm really hoping that we're at least able to make some kind of dent. Obviously, I don't think that we're going to be able to fill it, but that's going to take a long time. Like I said, long-term investment. But either way, let's pick all of this up and let's get back to work.